Hi. So we wanted to talk today about communication and not just with others, but within the self, whether it be that you're trying to work through something that you might have felt triggered with, or just communicating with physical feelings or sensations that you have in your own body. And also, as I said, with others. So that's our topic today. And I want to start out with asking, what is a good strategy to stay calm and collected when you're activated in a social setting? It might be with somebody you're close to, it might be with somebody you're not, but you're not in a situation where you can just walk over and to your bedroom and get away from it, and you
Yes.
don't want to act out. What's the best way to handle it?
Uh, we have done a couple of podcasts recently, and they actually pertain to the topics that we're going to be talking about today. We don't think it'll be too repetitive for those that have already listened to them. It is always good to go into a little bit more detail to provide really clear and concise understanding about your experience and about those that you are coming into contact with. You see, we want you to understand that everyone that is coming before you is a reflection or a mirror back to you about yourself, really. And so what we would really love for a human to do is, rather than putting the focus on the one out in front of them, which really kind of puts you in an uncomfortable position and separates you even more from your source, because this is not the reason that you are feeling the feeling you are feeling, you see. We would like you to immediately make the exchange more about how you're feeling in regard to it, rather than how they are so-called making you feel, and then placing the blame on them instead of yourself, you see. As you go inside yourself, as you recognize this recoil, this charge of energy, and that's what it is, whether it is embarrassment, whether it is humiliation, anger, whatever it is that the one in front of you happens to provoke, is something that is being revealed to you by all that is, you see. We have said to humans before in a recent recording that we did, that if you could really understand the gift that you are getting from the universe in the relationships that you are having, that everyone comes before you bearing you gifts, and they are teachers to you, and that you can learn everything that is separating you from your source simply by observing those that you are in interaction with, and then use this information for yourself to go over inside and soothe your human, not make it wrong, not try to change it. We're not wanting to do that. We are just simply wanting you to tell your human, you are feeling angered because of the situation before you. And then you soothe it. The life experiences you have had have caused you to have this emotion become overactive within you. I understand. I am grateful for the experiences you have provided me for. I in no way condemn you for them. And you soothe your human. You love your human for simply being the experiencer. And immediately in doing this, the human will relax. It will start to let go. It's much like if you are in a heated argument with someone and someone stops you abruptly and says, "Hey, I love you. I'm sorry. No need to go any further." What are you going to do? You're going to respond. You're going to immediately feel better. You're going to immediately move into alignment and feel connection. And that's exactly what your human does when you respond to it in the same way, you see. So this is why you are getting these situations and circumstances that are coming before you. And we want you to feel the charges, feel those energy charges that are emitted from you, and then simply go to your human and thank it for providing you with feedback, and then sending that to all that is, so that you can have the real life that you really want. And as you do this, when the human becomes soothed, it will let go of that charge. And we've told you what happens when you let go of the charge. You come into alignment, and that's where all the good stuff is. That's where you start to plug in. That's where you start to receive what the source has for you, that has been provided for you by you from these experiences that you've been having, that you've not been able to relish in because you're stuck in the creative place of the negativity where they began, you see. Is that clear?
It is, but just to further answer the question, if you are in that situation and you are able in that moment to just say, "Oh, I'm seeing something in me that's activated," and you can handle that in your own head, that's obviously the best way. But what if you feel like you need some time to process and you're in this public setting, is it okay to say, hey, I need to take a little break or step aside or
Absolutely.
change the subject? Like, how would you handle it if you were in a conversation and all of a sudden you felt, "Oh, I need to collect myself here"?
Yes, yes. It is to politely excuse yourself as quickly as you can, and then to summon the high self. Ask yourself, I'm separated. I know that there is something here for me in this emotion that I am feeling, and join me. Join me as I have a look at this. You see, if you are able to separate yourself and then go off, it won't take very long, just a few minutes to try to reckon with it. Yes. And then immediately release the one in front of you as the cause of it, and know that it is something that lives within you and that you are going to deal with it now. And what will happen, Heidi, as you become the master, and this is what we've really been talking about, and it's what we're going to work on in the upcoming course that we have. We want to teach humans how to become the masters. And what is a master? A master is one that understands that they are the creator, the chooser, and the picker of the way that they are going to feel around any given situation or circumstance, you see. And this is what free will is. Humans think that free will means that you don't have to do something you don't want to do. And what we would tell you is, what is free will? Well, free will is the pure acceptance of any situation that occurs in one's life, and they pick and choose how they are going to feel about it. They don't go with the natural response of being jealous, of being angry, of flying off the handle, whatever it is that immediately responds from the human. They become the picker and the chooser, the master over the human that decides, this is how I will choose in my free will to feel about this. You see, a human can become ill, a human can become depressed, whatever it is that they have that comes across their plate in the life that they are living. But when it boils right down to it, they have a choice. They have free will to decide, am I going to let the loss of this one, perhaps it is a partner, a child, whatever it is, be the excuse or reason or justification that I now move into this negative state, stay there for an extended period of time? Or am I going to choose as a master? Am I going to decide that it feels better to feel better? Am I going to pick something to pull myself out of this negativity? Or am I just going to stay in it because this is what I've seen others do and I think it is the thing to do, you see?
Yes. Hmm. So if you're having an interaction with someone close, and you see they're triggered, and you and I had discussed an issues like this earlier in the week,
Yes.
but you're triggered, and I know that the message that you gave was it would be best if the other party were able to soothe you when they notice that you are triggered. And
Yes.
by soothing you, it's helpful to you, and it doesn't necessarily lower your vibration or cause negative emotion and
Yes.
get out of control. What is the benefit then to the other? So if the one that is triggered is soothed, what is offered then to the soother in that
Because
interaction?
the soother will give up their own vibratory level in conflict, you see.
Mhm.
And as they take the stance or role, nothing matters. No argument is worth it. No disagreement is ever going to yield you anything from all that is that you're wanting. And once you get this idea as the master, Robin's starting to get it a little bit. Everything's starting to just be funny to her. Every argument, every idiosyncrasy that is going on, every loss of money, everything that happens is starting to become a joke. It's actually funny because she's starting to realize this is a reality that you have created, you see.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so when you decide as a human that you are going to become the human and make a big deal out of a disagreement that you are having with someone that actually isn't even real, it is just something you are fabricating, yes, in the human form you are in. So when you can start to look at this, when you start to really understand that your alignment is what you are looking, you being the chooser, the picker, of what it is that you decide to feel, and staying in that good feeling place and starting to get the life, hear this, the life that you have gotten by all of these trials and tribulations that have created it for you and all that is. Now you can start to have those experiences actually come to you. You can actually draw them to yourself in your likeness to them. And so what are you giving up really? Being right? Being miserable? We laugh all the time when we say, what's there in it for you? Why is it that feeling miserable, feeling out of alignment, yelling and hollering at someone and being in a conflict, which doesn't feel good at all, why would that be a choice over just moving into love, moving into, I don't care what's happened. I love you. Can we let it go? Yes. Can we move to something where we could both keep our alignment? Can we just let it go? You see, this is the advice that we would give to humans. Many of them aren't going to take it, but that's fine. We are going to tell you that you are a creator either way. You can be a creator in your suffering, or you can be a creator in your joy. We're trying to guide you into getting more joyful exchanges, more happiness in your life, more ease in your life. But you have the right. You are a sovereign being that creates. And whether you are in negativity and you keep regurgitating it over and over again, make no mistake about it, you are expanding, you are becoming more, but you're not going to receive it. You're not going to see the evidence of it in human form as you decide to take this stance or place in your life.
When you were speaking there, I was just thinking about how there's that line that they say 21 days to a new habit. And I was kind of looking at the communicating with yourself versus arguing with another. And it seems a very difficult task, but there's lots of things in our life, whether we decide to start exercising or eating a different diet or whatever we decide, it's always a little difficult at first, but we commit to it and do it long enough and it becomes natural. So I think that would be a big thing for people to try to, instead of having the argument with the person, to try to remove yourself from the situation and just sit with yourself for a while and try to make that a new habit.
Yes. When you finally get the understanding of what oneness is, you are all emanating from the same thing. And when you are arguing with another, you are arguing with yourself. The universe is receiving your argument. It's all it knows. It's all it feels, you see.
Right.
And so how is there any resolution in this? How is there any benefit in this? There is none, you see. And once you can start to make the tipping point, make the understanding within yourself that soothing another or soothing yourself is the same thing. Did you hear that? That's what it is. So take the one in front of you that you think is the cause of the conflict and paste your face on top of their face and do it that way if you need to, because that's all you're doing. When you offer soothing, when you offer union, when you decide to align, you're aligning. And it doesn't matter who you do it for or with or about. Everything that you do for you. Everything that you emanate is for you. If you're emanating an argument and you want to be right and make another person wrong, or you are looking at them as though they are a lowly being, or they don't get something, or they're worthless, you are emanating that about yourself to the universe. That's what will be returned on to you, you see. So we are glad that we keep having these exchanges, and we keep trying to give you tools or a way of understanding. Everything's you. Just change everything. You.
Yeah.
That'll make it simple.
Yeah. So when you're in a situation where you feel someone has treated you badly, is it okay in a kind way to say, your words have hurt me? I need to take some time to process. Is there any teaching involved for the other in you kindly saying a phrase like that? Or is it best to say nothing?
Yes. First and foremost, we will go back again. Yes, there will never be one before you that you are not liking before you, unless you have something within you that is attractive quality. This you know. Yes. And this attractive quality, as we have told you, could come from the life that you are now living. It could come from what you have viewed in your parents' living, and it could come from your lineage or your or the past lives that you have lived. So there are many different ways or avenues that one could attract something to themselves that they don't understand or they're not really liking. But what we are really trying to get you to do here today is to acknowledge the fact you have. Somehow this is an alignment to you. It is attracted to you. Yes. And that in itself is empowering. That in itself is something that lessens the charge a little bit, you see. And when one feels victimized, which is what you were talking about, as though something has happened to them that they are not deserving of and violated by it, there is a natural recoil or a response that they feel that needs to be had. But when one fully embodies this idea that we have just given you, that need to recoil diminishes greatly, you see. And so humans oftentimes think they have to address something to get it to stop. but really all they need to do is stop whatever the behavior was that attracted to them in the beginning, and that will no longer be part of their experience. So in that way, no verbal exchange is necessary or needed. Although we know how humans are, yes? And at some point, they do feel a need, especially when they are in close relationship. Say it is
Right.
husband, wife, child, someone that holding this thing or this energy between you starts to be a little bit of a block or something that cuts off your communication to them in your love state. Let's use that term.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
so the way what we would advise or like you to do it is to say, somehow I have unknowingly attracted something to myself that is being delivered to me through you that I am not liking. Yes. And I would like to resolve it. I would like, but right now, yes, what I am feeling by it is this. I am feeling offended. I am feeling discounted. I am feeling as though my feelings are not being considered, all of these things. But really, Heidi, one has to, and this is what we're talking about again, and we're going to go over this in the course when we are teaching it, is humans have to learn this idea of becoming the master. They have to figure out what it is that is in their bag that is attracting this situation or circumstance to themselves that they are not liking. And this is the way that you eliminate it, not by taking fire and starting little fires all over the forest and then stamping one or two of them out, and then pretty soon a couple more are on fire. This is not the way that you put the fire out, you see. So you have to get the fire out at its source. You have to make sure that it is not catching in any other areas. So you are much the same. We are not talking to you right now on the level that we would talk to, say, a beginner or someone who has never been exposed to this principle or this teaching that we are giving to you. We are in the fortunate position of attracting to ourselves, through you and through Robin, people who are very educated, who have an understanding of these concepts and have a knowing of what it is we are speaking about. And so as we answer this question and many questions to you, the way that we are always going to do it is from this point or place, because it is what we are attracting to ourselves. So we are wanting the people that we are in communion with, people that are listening to the recordings that we are having, to understand that there is nothing random, there is no victimization, there is nothing bad happening to you. There is only you emanating something within you that is causing this experience to be returned to you. And once you really adopt this understanding and you really know it and embody it within yourself, you can sit with yourself for a little while with that feeling, and you can discover and thank your human for letting you know this is not something that you like. It is not something that you would like returned to you over and over again, and that your beef really isn't within the one that is before you. It is within yourself to correct this, you see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My next question kind of pertains to the world we live in now, not the world that I had or you had, Robin, as a child, but with cell phones and text messages and emails and non-direct face-to-face communication. So if you are having communication with someone and they are zoned out on their phone and you feel unheard or unimportant, is there any advice on how to handle that situation, or would it be the same advice you just gave for encountering someone who said some harsh words to you?
It would be similar or same. We would tell you if your child has to call your name 8 or 10 times and you continue to ignore them when you are engaged in something and make them feel insignificant, you are now attracting or cultivating something in them that when they are preoccupied, you are going to get same. You see, it is a match. And so there is a little bit, yes, of this going on. But if we were to ask you in all honesty, Heidi, and we are not big alarmists, we like to present things as they truly are and not as how humans like to visualize them or imagine them. But Robin is saying, and she doesn't know about you, but years ago when her husband was in business for himself, they had no cell phones, and maybe they had a dinner planned or something that they were supposed to attend, and the kids were all ready to go, and the husband did not show up. You see, there was no phone. There was no way of contacting her. And then maybe something happened on the equipment. Something broke down. It was not intentional, but sometimes it maybe would be. Maybe he stopped somewhere that he ought not to. Yes, it could have been. But the point we are trying to make is our relationships really worse or are they better because of communication? Robin would say to some degree she sees it with children that there is some constant on the phone and ignoring parents, but oftentimes the parents are the cultivators of this. They are already preoccupied or doing this, and the child has learned the behavior from them, you see. And she said, and we would tend to agree with her, that now having the phones as they are as adults, and someone being to say, hey, I'm running 20 minutes late, I will be there. Yes, I am sorry, I cannot make it. It has been better. It has been a better situation. So in that respect, some of your communications or your devices have actually improved relationships and lifestyles. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. Yes.
Yes. So
Uh,
there's less angst, there's less worry about things because we can have contact immediately. We know if someone is deliberately not showing up or whether something has occurred that they cannot help. And so it is easily resolved in that manner. But so it is actually a two-part question that you have asked us, and we have given you the long way around it. But we would tell you, yes, Robin Cutter's son the other day. Oh, sorry, we are outing him. Yes. But his son, he is a busy man and he has two small children and they are at him a lot. They are always calling his name. And as he was talking to Robin in the driveway, the one was saying the name over, 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 over. And she said to him, you need to respond, you see, because this is one of the things that will attract you having to do same. Now you're going to be aggravated. You call the child, there's no response. You call the child, there's no response, you see. And so what the only advice we would give to humans is when you have these devices that you are dealing with and you ask the child once, if the child does not respond to you, you go over and gently touch them. I am speaking with you. Put the device down, you see. Do not continue to repeat over and over with no response and expect that this situation is going to improve. You see, you have to really do the same thing. You have to create the experience that you want, and you can. There's nothing that's going on in this world that is bad, that is negative, that is horrible. You have the ability as a creator, as parent, to create the kind of boundary, to create the kind of experience that you want to have in your own household. Many of you are lazy. You are not doing it. You are often ignoring the one calling you. You are often on your phone when you should not be, you see. And so when you be the example that you are wanting to see in the child, this will be returned to you. Did that answer your question?
It did, yes. So if you feel like you have some things on your mind that I know it's best to process and do your work, your inner work, but is it okay, like, to have a person that you can dump your feelings on or have a conversation with, vent out your frustrations, maybe somebody close to you?
Yes.
Is that a benefit, or would you say it's unhealthy and that you should do it by yourself?
It's a major benefit. Did you know you are that person for your sister Robin?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And you are not a fuel feeder. You are not a fire feeder, you see. You take in the information, yes, and then you help process it or use the guidance system or your knowing or what you are educated in to be your guide, you see. And so this is the example that we would use. If you have a confidant or someone who is on the same path or place that you are on, then this is someone we would use. But if you're going to go to someone who is going to be a feeder of fuel or someone that is going to ignite you even further, then we would not advise it, you see. So it is very important and beneficial when you are on this spiritual journey, this path of self-discovery, of feeling emotions, of knowing that you are the generator of them, of knowing that the people in front of you are nothing more than a mirror back to what it is that is activated in you, so that the universe is helping you. It is trying to show you, fix this, heal this, so that I can become more connected to you and you can get more of what you want. That's what's really happening. That's why these people are out there that are aggravating you. It's not to aggravate you. It's to help make you whole. It's to help make you notice where there's a disconnect, where there's a wound. And the wound doesn't have to be disregarded. It just needs to be soothed. It needs to be recognized. Your human was wounded by an experience. Soothe it, put a Band-Aid on it like you would your child, and send it on its way. This is all you need to do. So this is the advice that we would give you. Don't find someone that's going to rub salt in the wound and work you up still further. Find someone who's going to help disarm you or help calm you.
Okay. Well, that's good to know that we don't have to have it all internal, that it's okay to talk with someone. Uh,
Absolutely.
you had said in a recording, um, what did I emanate? So I have been, I have found myself um, in this interaction.
Mhm.
Basically, you said something like that. And I thought that that was a really good question for someone to ask themselves because
Mhm.
oftentimes you do feel like something comes out of nowhere. And
Yes.
so, would you like to discuss that a little bit? What you meant
Yes.
by what you're
Yes.
emanating and how
Yes.
that's attracting
Uh,
to
uh, Emanation, the word emanation, and in the context that we use it, is you are an emanator, you are a creator, and how you create is by emanating. That's how you get experiences. And so, what are you emanating in your feelings? That the universe might be receiving. And the problem that a human runs into a great deal of the time is they become justified. And justified, how they use justification is by what they see in form. Perhaps there's someone in front of you that is aggravating you. Perhaps you have had a divorce. Perhaps you have lost some money. These are all results of life experiences, as you would call them, and they are showing it to you in form, you see. And so as a human justifies, well, it's true, there it is, it's in form. That's why I'm thinking about it, because it's in form. We want you to recognize that before it became form, it was long thought about, you see. That is brought about by what you are emanating. Often humans will see someone in front of you that is maybe behaving nastily towards you and not liking it, and you maybe move to hatred, maybe you move to anger, whatever the emotion it is that you are feeling, and you are quite justified in it, because there it is in form, looking at you, in this one that is displaying this type of behavior. But all the while, you're not realizing you're one thing, and now you're the emanator. This anger, this irritation, this disgust, jealousy, whatever it is that you are emanating at the one in front of you and pinning onto them, the universe is receiving it from you. This is the emanation it receives from you, and this is the emanation it returns on, you see. You are an emanator. There is nothing that you are feeling, there is nothing that you are letting escape from you in emotive value that the universe is not capturing, taking a picture of, and sending back to you through other experiences, circumstances, and things, even other people. This is going to show up in your experience, you see. So this is where we talked about, and you said, well, should I tell them off? Well, tell them off if you want to be telling off more people, we would tell you, because that's what you're going to get from that experience. At some point, you have to rectify it. You have to come to terms with, you have emanated something that has put you in a pickle, that has caused you to get something you don't want. And simply by justifying it because the person is nasty, the husband did leave you, the money is gone out of the bank account, we're not going to argue with an experience. We're not going to tell you that there's no contrast here. There is. It's always going to be coming. But you have free will. You have the ability as a human to decide, how are you going to decide to feel based upon what has been presented to you by what you have emanated, what you have created. You're not going to pin it on anybody else. You can try, but it's not going to work. You see, you probably already know that. As you keep seeing something that you don't like, and as you keep getting pissed off about it and dwelling upon it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you get more and more of it, you see. But if you decide to take credit for it, I emanated it, I created it somehow, some way, you don't even have to fish through your bags and figure out exactly why. You just have to be accountable. You have to be understanding, somehow, some way, I have caused this experience to come to me. I don't like it. And then thank your human. Thank me for the negative emotion you are sending out to all that is. You're letting my high self know, I don't want this. I don't like it. And now I'm just going to let it go. Am I going to keep resending that letter over and over again to the same person that's already opened and read it and build it bigger and make a bigger deal out of it? You can if you want to. And then you're going to feel more negative emotions. You're going to have more similar experiences. And this one, your high self, is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. In a good way. It's not a terrible thing, but you as a human are never going to be able to experience the joy, the fun, the laughter, the happiness that you came here to have when you keep creating from negativity, when you have this opportunity to choose, you see, how you're going to do it. That's your
Yes.
free will. That's what giving up your free will is. Free will is, it's justified. Free will is, I got no control over it. Yes, you do. Use it. That's no free will. You're not using it. Using free will is picking. That's the master. I decide. I decide. The emotion I emanate so that I get what I want in my sovereignty.
Okay. All right, so let's move into self communication. And I would say there's far more negative self communication, would be my assumption with people, than there is positive. And, a lot of times we're saying awful things about ourselves. I'm fat, I'm unlovable, I'm this or whatever. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this gentleman brought up um, write down some of these negative self talks that you tell yourself, and then find someone in your life, preferably a child, someone innocent and sweet, and now go see if you can say those same things to that child that you're thinking and feeling about yourself. And you probably, almost 100% of people would say, I can't do that. But
Yes.
yet we do it to ourselves. And what advice do you have on that subject for us?
I think it is a good practice, and we would tell you exactly what it is that is being done in that practice. Is you are taking an unconscious response that has been programmed into you due to your life experiences, and you are acting on it in your judgment of self. It is what you are doing when you say, you are fat, I don't like the way you look. This is not a conscious response. It is an unconscious response from woundings and things that have occurred to you throughout your lifetime that you are just responding to over and over again. That's what you're doing. So as you take these things and as you go and repeat them, as you say, in your mind to a child, you are now moving these subconscious insults or thoughts that you have about yourself to your conscious mind. And you can hear how ridiculous it really is. You see, that's exactly what you are doing. It is a practice that is of some benefit. It is effective. And basically, but we really want a human to get to the understanding and the knowing that whenever you are in negativity, because you would be in negativity when you are having those feelings, you're not feeling good as you're doing it. And we're trying to train you into paying attention to how you are feeling, then you would know that you have become the human. You've become the tool. And becoming the human and becoming the tool is a little bit like becoming unconscious, because you have nothing to go on other than the experiences you've had. You see, it's all you have to go on. So, and these experiences are the things that are causing you to emote or to have emotions, you see. And when emotions are painful, whether it be physical pain or emotional pain, they get stored in the subconscious mind. And so your first sign or signal would be, as you are having these thoughts or feelings, you are unconsciously not noticing how you feel. We're really trying to close that gap with you. We really want you to get connected to yourself and always be aware in every moment of every day. How am I feeling? Check in, notice. Don't just go on autopilot. Don't just put the cruise control on and ignore the road in front of you.
Yeah. So maybe that's something that we will, invite our listeners to try, is writing down those awful things that you think or feel about yourself, and then consciously feeling like, how would that be to say this to this child?
Yes.
Would I say these words to this child? To try to bring, like you mentioned,
Awareness.
bring awareness to yourself so that you don't continue to do it to yourself. Because when you're doing it to yourself, you're also doing it to the whole, even if you don't physically go to the child and insult them.
Absolutely. We're for any practice that makes you more self-aware. That is what we are teaching. That's what we're trying to get humans to do. So we would be in agreement that this is a practice that one could try. And then to always be paying attention, we'd say, be the guard at your own gate, be the keeper of you. Notice when you are feeling good and notice what it is you are thinking and doing. And then do the same when you are not feeling good. This is the way for a human to become the master. At some point, one has to be accountable for the way that they think, the thoughts they choose. This is the free will that you come here with. And so again, what does free will mean? Free will means you come down here and you are going to experience, and you can create in any fashion or form that you want to. You can feel like hell, you can feel miserable while you do it, or you can do it from your love state. You can do it from enjoyment, and you can merge with your high self and receive everything you have become and see it in form on the earth plane. That's a choice you have. But we're not going to fault you in all that is for the negativity that you are contributing to all that is, because it is expanding either way. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is it matters for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what about communication in the form of physical discomfort, pains in the body, um, uneasy emotions that you have no idea of where they came from? What is that communication uh, showing us specifically? And is it or is it just another avenue to show us something that we're overlooking in our verbal communication.
Uh, we would venture to say that any human that is feeling chronic pain or constantly having trouble with pain has a lot of negativity going on, or a lot of negative thoughts that are being pulled in from their universe that they are dwelling on, that they are not paying attention to, you see. And some of them they think aren't all that important. Maybe they're driving themselves in a sport or a way of being. Maybe they are driving themselves as a parent or a moneymaker, whatever it is. Yes, a human has these ideas or ideals that they feel makes them who they are, or makes them worthy. Let's use that term. And so when you hold these type of values or opinions or projections of yourself, and then you don't meet them, then this is the result of it. You see, this is what happens. So we don't know whether that has answered your question or not. We believe that it has. We really want you to become more self-aware, more knowing that what you decide to view yourself as in order to feel worthy is always going to be a potential conflict or a place that you're not going to be able to meet that criteria. You're not going to be at that place or point. And it's going to forever hold your worthiness a little out of your reach, or not obtainable, you see. And then you're going to work a little harder. You're going to try a little harder. You're going to be a little better. And then maybe the behavior doesn't follow again. And so we try to explain to humans, your desire and your intent is what grows you and all that is. And if you don't connect to that as a human, if you don't keep up with that expansion, that negativity becomes really unbearable. It becomes bigger and bigger as you expand and become more. When you are using negativity as a means for expansion, the pain becomes great in your body, in your mind, everywhere. That's what you're using. The distance between you and you. Your constant negativity is growing you bigger and bigger to what you do want in all that is. But as you use that as your means, you get to be more and more pain. You'll get more and more separated, you see. And we have told you there's two ways that you can create. You can create in your joy, in your happiness, in your free will of deciding to choose how you feel, regardless of whether you feel an experience was good or not. You choose the good feeling. You decide to go with what feels good, no matter what. And this is creating from joy. And this narrows the gap. And this makes the human feel better on the earth plane.
Okay. I would like to issue a challenge maybe to our listeners to have a situation in your life that maybe, if you have a situation in your life or an interaction in your life where it evokes a negative response in you, offer to soothe either yourself or that other person. And it's difficult. I mean, I've had some successes with it and some fails with it. It's difficult, but try it and let us know how that worked out for you, if you were able to resolve a situation for yourself or another through soothing.
Yes. We try to use analogies whenever we can because we feel they are good tools or a way of teaching a human. We think about your shifting vehicles and cars, and you have the vehicle in first gear, and then you start to go up 25 miles an hour, and the engine is just revving. It's just calling to go into another gear. But you think, to hell with it. I'm just going to keep the gas down. I'm just going to keep going and revving that engine. And that's kind of what you're doing when you're in an argument or you're doing something that's creating negativity. It's a lot of tension on your unit, on your tool, on your human. It is just causing you this conflict. Is we want you to recognize that negative emotion that you are using to create is very powerful, and it can rattle the hell out of your unit. It can rattle your tool to the point where your knees hurt, your back aches, your head aches, your feet hurt, whatever it is. It is when you're stuck in that gear, that way of creating from negativity. It's something you've gotten used to. It's a habit that you have formed, that you just decide to constantly look as form to be your guide on whether you are right to feel the way that you do. And we want you to take form out of the picture and know that you're the creator of form by the way that you are thinking, and use that as your guide and look at the negativity that you feel or the intensity of it, the distance always between you and you. It's between what you've grown to and what you are deciding to stay in your negativity, that is causing all of the misery that you are in. It's not about the form that you are looking at. It's not about what you would deem as true or the reason for it. The reason for it is how you're thinking. What you're doing right now is a great distance from where you are in all that is.
Mm-hmm. And I just had one final question or slash comment. If you are having a situation with someone, whether you understand it or you don't, and you're not close with that person, but you're able to send some loving energy that way, or, just say, hey, I don't know, in your own head, hey, I don't know what's going on with you, but I, I'm sorry that it is what it is, and I'm sending this loving energy your way. Uh, that's also, I'm assuming that's also an effective communication for resolving. Am I correct in that assumption?
We would also like to take it a step further, Heidi. Rather than sending this one who you are deeming as wrong love, just send the one a thank you for the message that you have received in your interaction with them, in the feeling that you got because of it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing the game of life with me, for playing with the universe and revealing to me where it is that I am suffering, where it is that I am disconnected, what it is in me that needs healing that I have not been able to see other than when I came up against you. And now I see it, you see. I'm grateful.
That's
Rather than sending love,
look
we
at
would
it.
send gratitude, appreciation, and recognition of the player that they are in the scene, in the life that you're living.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you for chatting with me again this week. We'll look forward to chatting again next week. If anyone has any questions or show ideas, email me, Heidi at athenaintruth.com.
We've enjoyed this interaction and are in great appreciation of your contribution. We appreciate all the listeners that we have. We have a podcast under Athena in Truth on many platforms that is available for free that we do on a regular basis. We also have this YouTube channel. We would appreciate it greatly if you would share it with anyone that you would think that it would be a benefit to. Good day.
Thank you.